All right, hello everyone. Another class on ionic equilibrium, and in this class we'll take up a very important segment of the chapter, popularly called solubility product, represented as KSP, capital K with SP as the subscript. And before we move into the topic, like Ka, Kb is only for weak acids, weak bases. Here again, this concept of solubility product will be only for sparingly soluble salts. Salts which are very less soluble in water, which we have been generally considering as precipitates. So again, before moving into the topic, let's understand that like KAKB is never for strong acid, strong bases. KAKB equilibrium is always for weak acid, weak bases. This concept of solubility product will be only for sparingly soluble salts, less soluble salts. For very highly soluble salts like sodium chloride and all, KSP would not be relevant. We'll take up this topic. All the discussions and the results will be only for less soluble salts in water, which we have been regarding as precipitates. Recall AgCl, Kurdi white precipitate, barium sulfate, white precipitate insoluble in mineral acids. All the compounds we have learnt as precipitates so far, calcium carbonate turning lime water milky, precipitate. For all those precipitates which are less soluble in water, the concept of KSP or solubility product will be relevant. Now there are certain concepts about solubility, saturation, which we'll need to revisit. A lot of things we'll need to relearn. And any day, if you are given an aqueous solution, where you find the precipitate, suppose you have AgCl precipitated here. Now the physical presence of the salt, will be a confirmation of this solution being saturated. I repeat, the physical presence of the precipitate will confirm this solution is saturated. Because had it not been saturated, you will never find this precipitate in the first place. So the physical presence of a salt confirms the solution is saturated. Apparently it looks that AgCl or a precipitate is lying low, idle, undisturbed. But when you analyze closely, and it can be confirmed again using isotopes and all, it's not undisturbed, idle, lying here. This precipitate is actually dissolving, and the dissolved form is precipitating constantly. At the molecular level, the precipitate is dissolving and precipitating at the same rate. When it's saturated, an equilibrium is set up. Where the rate of dissolution and precipitation are equal. Nothing is static in chemistry. So what you generally believe as a precipitate settled away from the solution, I repeat, at the molecular level, it keeps on dissolving, and the dissolved form precipitates at equilibrium. When the solution is saturated, the rate of dissolution is equal to the rate of precipitation. So certainly it's a part of equilibrium, or equilibrium is at play. Here equilibrium is at play. Next, we are taught solubility or saturation in terms of a compound. Generally before class 11, we know that this is the amount of solubility of a certain compound at a given temperature. Temperature plays a part. In grams per 100 ml. So far in grams per 100 ml, I believe. Right away in class 11, you know molarity. So everything will be in terms of concentration, molarity, moles per liter. And this is going to be very interesting. I repeat, some concepts of solubility and all are going to be very strongly revisited. If you want more AgCl, to precipitate more AgCl, this will be important, I repeat. To precipitate more AgCl, you don't need to add AgCl. You add silver nitrate. Add silver nitrate. Now all nitrates are completely soluble. Very soluble. AgCl is a precipitate. All nitrates are very soluble. You will be taught in inorganic chemistry. All nitrates are very soluble. But if you add silver nitrate to this, you will find AgCl precipitating. Similarly, if you add CaCl2, calcium chloride, very few chlorides are precipitates. Most of the chlorides are soluble. Calcium chloride is completely soluble. Calcium chloride is highly soluble. So silver nitrate, calcium chloride, which are very soluble, you add silver nitrate, AgCl precipitates. You add CaCl2, AgCl precipitates. What it means is, so far we have been learning saturation or solubility in terms of the compound. To precipitate AgCl, you need Ag plus, you need Cl minus from any source of silver or chloride. So any silver salt or any chloride, any Ag plus or any source of Cl minus, you find AgCl precipitated. This means this is saturated in terms of ions. It's saturated in terms of ions. It's saturated in terms of ions. I told you about the equilibrium at play. So naturally it's a part of ionic equilibrium. It's going to be a very conceptually, rich topic, and a lot of applications are there. Down the line in salt analysis, when you take a group analysis, identification of the basic radicals, which is practical chemistry, laboratory chemistry, salt analysis, trust me, everything there is based upon the values of the solubility products, the KSP values. And I think I have made a couple of things very clear to you. One, in class 11, everything will be in moles per liter molarity. Two, to precipitate AgCl, if you want to add Ag plus or Cl minus from any salt of silver or chloride, this means the saturation is in terms of ions, and not in terms of the compound. To get AgCl, you don't need to add AgCl, add Ag plus or add Cl minus. This means it's saturated with Ag plus and Cl minus, and at a given temperature, the concentration of Ag plus Cl minus and this product, like any equilibrium constant, is a constant, and this is called KSP, which is the solubility product. So what's basically solubility product? Solubility product, we are talking about a saturated solution. Solubility product, we are talking about a saturated solution. A saturated solution which cannot hold more AgCl. So any amount of AgCl will fall down, will precipitate, but it's actually saturated in ions and not in the compound. So it's saturated with Ag plus Cl minus. The concentration of Ag plus and Cl minus and the product of this, which will be called the ionic product, Recall we were calling it the ionic product of water when it was H plus OH minus coming from water. So all of this is very naturally named ionic product at saturation. For a sparingly soluble salt, less soluble salt, ionic product at saturation will be called the solubility product. And like all the equilibrium constants, this will be a constant at a given temperature. Ag plus Cl minus and the product of these concentrations cannot exceed KSP. It cannot exceed KSP. If it's less than KSP, the solution is unsaturated. If it's less than KSP, the solution is unsaturated. If it's equal to KSP, it's saturated. And the moment you increase Ag plus or Cl minus, you can call it supersaturated, which is a metastable state. But if you increase Ag plus Cl minus beyond KSP, it will be a precipitate. So naturally, to precipitate something, you will want to know the KSP value and exceed the KSP value. So I think a few things are set clear right away. Saturation is in terms of ions. It's a constant. Ions, equilibrium, so ionic equilibrium, and the molarity of Ag plus Cl minus, or the concentration in molarity for any cation anion for any less soluble salt, and the product is a constant. For saturated solution, that constant is called equilibrium constant. If it's equal to KSP, this means the solution is saturated. If the ionic product happens to be less than KSP, it means it can hold more Ag plus Cl minus. If it's less than KSP, the solution is unsaturated. If it's more than KSP, it will precipitate. And again, I would formally want to write all of it one more time maybe. You'll want to keep copying all of this at your convenience. And I think this was a nice new experience for most of you. Because so long, generally, saturation in terms of a compound. Now to precipitate AgCl, you don't need to add AgCl. You can add Ag plus from any silver salt, very soluble silver salt. You can add Cl minus from any soluble calcium barium salt. and you get the precipitate of AgCl. So the saturation is in terms of ions. The saturation is in terms of ions. Now when it's equal to KSP, when it's equal to KSP, when the ionic product is equal to KSP, the solution is saturated. When the ionic product is equal to KSP, when the ionic product, suppose Ag plus Cl minus, which we began with, when the ionic product is equal to KSP, you will believe the solution is saturated. If this is less than KSP, if this ionic product is less than KSP, the solution is unsaturated, and if somehow Ag plus Cl minus are increased in the solution and this IP increased or it's exceeding KSP, if the ionic product is exceeding KSP at this temperature, then you will have a precipitate, So you know now, to precipitate something, you will want the ionic product to exceed KSP value, and certainly you need to know the KSP values to control the precipitation, which would be a very handy tool in separating salt so many times, which will be such a handy tool in identifying and precipitating and separating different compounds. And to precipitate something, you will want to know the KSP value. KSP has to be exceeded to precipitate any less soluble salt. A few very common things, like we will want to compare KSP with solubility in terms of molarity. So the next heading could be relation between KSP and solubility. Relation between KSP and solubility. You will want to keep copying this at your convenience. And as I said, we will want to see how the two are related. Solubility in moles per liter and the KSP for a less soluble salt. Relation between KSP and solubility. I did tell you solubility now is in moles per liter. Chances are till class 10, you taught solubility in grams per 100 ml. Now everything will be in molarity, moles per liter. If it's a binary salt like AgCl, BA, giving B plus and A minus, Now the salt might be less soluble or more soluble. The moment it dissolves, a salt is always a strong electrolyte. So everything which dissolves ionizes. You are told it's not written AB, it's written BA, because generally the basic radical forms the cation. Remember, for NaCl, NaOH, the base was giving Na plus, Cl minus came from the acid. So we always represent a salt as Ba. This is the basic radical cation, the acidic radical anion. It's a binary salt giving two ions. If the solubility is S moles per liter, now this will furnish S moles of the cation, S moles of the anion, and naturally KSP, which is written in the conventional manner, ionic product B plus A minus, will be equal to S into S, which is S square, and the relationship will be solubility is equal to root over of KSP. So these are like very common, very routine things. You will be given a salt, its solubility, find its KSP, or the vice versa. From the KSP values, you will be asked to find the solubility in moles per liter. Everything in moles per liter. KSP ionic product, simple as it looks. Suppose it's a ternary salt giving three particles. So this could be B and 2A. If the solubility is S moles per liter, this will be S and this will be 2S. And now the way you write for KSP, B plus 2 and A minus and square of this, you would want to take this stoichiometric coefficient as the power. S and 2S square has to be equal to 4S cube, and the relationship will be S is equal to KSP upon 4 and cube root of this. So this is when it's a binary salt giving you two particles. This is when it's a ternary salt giving you three particles. You'll want to copy it right away. I'll take up a few more cases, but before that you need to copy this. Generally the KSP value is given, solubility has to be calculated, and vice versa. So you'll want to copy this right away, and we'll take up a few more examples. Naturally, the next type could be when there is a salt giving 4 particles. So now if it's a salt giving 4 particles, Ba3, if suppose there is a salt giving 4 particles, Ba3, I could write it as B plus 3 and 3A minus. This is the third type of salt. And now if the solubility is S moles per liter, this will give you S moles of this and 3S moles of this. You could write for KSP as the way we write it in this manner. This stoichiometric coefficient will come into the power cube. So this will be S and this will be 3S whole cube, which will be equal to 27S to the power 4, and solubility will be KSP upon 27 and 4th root of this and 4th root of this. What if it's giving you 5 particles? What if it's giving you 5 particles? A salt like calcium phosphate, Ca3PO4 whole twice. What if it is a B2A3 or a B3A2 kind of salt? Now B3A2 could be written as 3B plus 2 plus 2A minus 3. I told you calcium phosphate type of salt. Solubility S will mean 3S moles per liter of cation, 2S moles per liter of anion, and we write KSP as B plus 2 cube of this, A minus 3 square of this, 3S cube, 2S square. Now this will eventually give you 108 S to the power 5, and the relationship between solubility and KSP will be solubility is equal to KSP upon 108 and 5th root of this. So these are some common routine elementary questions on how to calculate solubility from KSP and vice versa. Chances are, you'll be able to go past this with a lot of ease, and then we'll take up a few practical applications of solubility product, and naturally want to solve a lot of problems based on these ideas. I must have told you one application of solubility product, and a huge application of solubility product is when we carry out the group analysis, identification of basic radicals in the laboratory, in organic chemistry, salt analysis, everything which we do in group analysis, the entire sequence of placing different radicals in different groups, reagents and precipitates, is certainly after knowing their KSP values. So once you are done copying all of this, we'll want to move to a model question, a sample question. Suppose you're told that KSP of a compound like AgCl is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 9 at 298 Kelvin, and you are asked to find its solubility. You are asked to find its solubility in pure water, 0.1 molar AgNO3, and suppose 0.01 molar CaCl2. Suppose you are given a problem of this kind. The KSP is given. You have to find the solubility in 1 pure water, 0.1 molar silver nitrate, and 0.01 molar calcium chloride. Now naturally, in pure water, I would know the relationship is KSP is equal to S square. We got it right away. KSP is equal to S square, and solubility will be equal to root KSP. Solubility will be equal to root KSP. Solubility will be equal to root KSP, and this root KSP could be written as 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 9 could be written as 16 into 10 to the power minus 10. See, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 9 could be written as 16 into 10 to the power minus 10, which will be 4 into 10 to the power minus 5 moles per liter. You can see it's a very small value. So it's very less soluble. 4 into 10 to the power minus 5 moles per liter is the solubility at 298 Kelvin. in pure water. You know, it's giving you two particles, Ksp is equal to S square, S is equal to root Ksp, and this is a simple calculation to carry out. You get the solubility in pure water. You get the solubility in pure water, which is 4 into 10 to the power minus 5 moles per liter. We'll want to keep this in mind. You'll want to keep this in mind. And maybe somewhere, you know, you'll just want to retain this value. Maybe somewhere you'll want to retain this value. What I do is, I retain this value in this way. I know this is the solubility in pure water. When it's 0.1 molar, AgNO3. Now AgNO3 is completely soluble. AgNO3 is completely soluble. AgNO3 is completely soluble. So AgNO3 will give you Ag plus, which is 0.1 molar. This time when you write for Ksp, as Ag plus and Cl minus, which is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 9, you should believe that all of Ag plus is coming from silver nitrate. You should believe that all of Ag plus is coming from silver nitrate. You should believe that all of Ag plus is coming from silver nitrate. It's like common N effect. It's like common N effect which we began with in the buffer solution. It's like common N effect which we began with in the buffer solution. Every time a strong and a weak electrolyte had an ion in common, all of the common ion was coming from the strong electrolyte only. It was a simple assumption. It was a basic assumption. So because this is completely soluble, AgNO3 is very highly soluble and this is very less soluble, you will believe that all of Ag plus is coming from AgNO3. You will believe that all of Ag plus is coming from AgNO3, and this is a smart thing to do. You will want to take this 0.1, you will want to take this solubility, and you will find solubility as, you know, dividing it by 0.1, 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 8. You will get solubility as 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 8. You will get solubility as 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 8. Right away the solubility is decreasing almost 1000 times. Right away the solubility is decreasing almost 1000 times. 10 to the power minus 5 to 10 to the power minus 8. The solubility is decreasing almost 1000 times. We'll again see the application of, you know, this fact as well. What do they do in textbooks? A lot of things which you find in textbook and the way they have to be formally represented in the school exam or the board exam are eventually so hilarious. So most of the textbooks would want you to take Ag plus from silver nitrate as well as AgCl. Suppose a textbook tells you that AgCl gives you Ag plus and Cl minus, and you want to take this S, and Ag plus, which is 0.1 plus S, 0.1 plus S, and Cl minus, which is S, is equal to the Ksp, which is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 9. This is how a textbook would represent the solution. This is how the textbook would approach most of the textbooks, and you might need to do it in your school exams this way. They'll ask you to take Ag plus from AgCl as well as AgNO3 as well as AgCl. And now, when you're doing that, this from silver nitrate, this from AgCl. The next line would be, because S is very, very small, listen carefully. This is what all textbooks do. And you might need to do it in your school exam as well. Because S is very, very small, they'll write because S is very, very small. 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 Neglecting S square, 0.1 S is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 9, and you will get S as 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 8. You will get S as 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 8. So they don't take S square because S is very, very small. Neglecting S square, 0.1 S is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 9, and solubility will be the same value which I had got without, you know, taking this much of complication. And naturally, a smart student will understand, naturally a smart student will understand that taking S from AgCl, taking S from AgCl and neglecting it in the next step is so uncalled for. Taking Ag plus from AgCl in the first step and then neglecting it in the next step is so unwanted. Right away, you should know that all of Ag plus will come from silver nitrate. It is such a simple approach. So when you are doing it for yourself, when you are doing it for an entrance exam, when you are doing it, you want to do it without any hassle, simple assumption that almost all of Ag plus is coming from silver nitrate. So you take it 0.1 right away, you get the solubility. Naturally, this is how it will be done in school exams. You will want to take Ag plus both from silver nitrate and AgCl, both from silver nitrate and AgCl, and then neglect S square, which is basically the same as taking Ag plus from silver nitrate only. So any smart student will understand that this is like pretty unwanted, but that is how things go. That is how you might need it in the school exam. पहले solubility के लिए Ag plus silver chloride से भी लो, अगला स्टेप में इसको नेग्लेक्ट कर दो. तो लेने का जरूरत ही क्या है, तुम सिल्वर नाइट्रेट से Ag plus लो. This is a smarter way of doing it. But you would want to know both the approaches because this might be required in your school exam, board exam, where you write because S is very, very small, neglecting S square, and you get the same value. The third one, which is, but now I understand why we neglect S square. We neglect S square because almost all of Ag plus comes from silver nitrate only. Now the third problem, which was involving calcium chloride. And this time 0.01 molar CaCl2 will again take all chloride from CaCl2. We'll keep it simple. We'll take all Cl minus from CaCl2. So this time Ag plus Cl minus is equal to Ksp 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 9. And this will be my solubility. Just remember that 0.01 molar CaCl2 will give you 2 Cl minus. So Cl minus will be twice of this. And Cl minus will be 0.02 is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 9. We won't take chloride from AgCl and then neglect it in the next step. This is a smarter way of doing it. Take all Cl minus from CaCl2 and you will get solubility as 0.02. So this will be like 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 10 could be written as 16 into 10 to the power minus 10. This is 2 into 10 to the power minus 2. So this will be like 8 into 10 to the power minus 8. This will be like 8 into 10 to the power minus 8. I hope I'm doing it all right. Minus 2, 1.6, 16 into 10 to the power minus 10, 0.02. So it's 2 into 10 to the power minus 2. Looks good. 8 into 10 to the power minus 8 is the solubility in 0.01 molar CaCl2. So this is how you can calculate. The solubility of AgCl. You can calculate the solubility of AgCl in three different solutions. And don't you think we were told only a little bit about solubility in the past? We were told solubility is a function of temperature. Yes, it's a function of temperature. It's a function of temperature because Ksp is a function of temperature. Solubility is a function of temperature because Ksp is a function of temperature. Ksp changes with temperature and so does solubility. 2. Solubility can change drastically. With the nature of the solution. In pure water, you will have one value given by the relationships which I derived, just a while ago. But in different solutions containing Ag plus or Cl minus, in different solutions containing common ions, the solubility will certainly be different. And in solutions containing more common ions, see 0.1 is more than 0.02. In solutions containing more common ion, the solubility will be lesser. It dipped almost 1000 times in 0.1 molar Ag plus and it dipped again almost 1000 times in CaCl2. But here because you had more count of common ion, the solubility was lesser. So right away a few things are set straight. 1, saturation is of ions. 2, there is an equilibrium at play between the dissolved form and the saturated form. And certainly, what's constant is the Ksp value because you see solubility, differing in different types of aqueous solution. More the number of common ions, lesser will be the solubility. This is hardly the beginning. So much more to be learnt and taught in this topic, and all of that will be done in the course of problem solving. So this much in this particular video. There are going to be sessions in problem solving, which is going to give, cause more value addition to the understanding of KSP, plus its applications are also very diverse in nature. So this much for the time being. Thank you so much.